In this tutorial I'll show you the basics of how to use the diagramming features in ASOM version 7. In the tab Diagrams in the menu ribbon you'll find all the necessary tools to produce a diagram. There are pre-configured diagrams for certain types of data like translational data, rotational data, geometrical data, or also force-related data like joint forces, for example. If what you are looking for is not among the pre-configured options, you can also start with the button Universal Graph or utilize your own custom-made script data sources. I'll now create a simple slider crank system with one fixed and one floating bearing. I'll complete this with a drive, and then assign a mass to the crank and also place a point of action for a manual force there. Please note, how to do a kinetostatic analysis will be explained in a separate tutorial. I'll now label all objects with simple names like crank 1, mass of crank 1, where we will also assign a value of 10 kilograms, the manual force, the second bar, and the connecting point A1. To check the animation, I'll switch on the trajectory of the manual force and move the animation slider a little. The animation currently runs until the system reaches a dead point or comes back to the starting position. The quickest way to derive a diagram now, for example for the necessary holding force at the point of the manual force, is to use the context menu on the right mouse button and choose the option Diagrams and then Holding Force. In the subsequently appearing configuration mask, I'll just enter a short name for the diagram, check the data sources for both axes, and then click on OK. This gives us a diagram showing a graph of the holding force over time. To explain why this graph jumps, I'll just toggle the visibility for the direction of movement of the manual force. As you can see, the graph shows negative values when a holding force against the direction of movement is necessary, and it shows positive values when a holding force in the direction of movement is necessary. To add another graph with the same data source to a diagram, you only need to click this small green plus symbol. In the window Diagram Settings, there is also this plus symbol, which I can use to add several more graphs to the existing diagram all at once. In this case, I'll choose the X projection and the Y projection, pre-configure the graph styles, and then, lastly, add the absolute value of the manual force. After clicking OK, you'll find all the new graphs in the diagram, complete with corresponding labels, although the labels can also be adjusted later in any way you want. In this Legend panel, instead of near the axis, you'll also find the current X and Y values for all graphs, regardless if they have different units or not. The values shown in the legend correspond to the positions of the little red plus markers on the individual curves, which represent the animation progress. I'll now create a second diagram, this time through the tab Diagrams on the menu ribbon. By using the feature Vector between 2 points, for example, I can visualize the distance between 2 points over the course of the animation. Let me just adjust the color and line weight a little. I'll also change the data source for the x-axis, since I don't want to display the distance over animation time, but over the rotation of another element. In my case, bar number 1. The new diagram window I can now dock with the main window, and I can also minimize the legend. In this way you can create many more diagrams. Any modifications in the system, like for example moving the connection point of the two bars, are reflected instantaneously in all graphs and diagrams connected to the system, and this over the whole course of the animation. For practice, I recommend that you create some more diagrams on your own with the help of our pre-configured diagram types, for example for joint forces. There will be another tutorial explaining the use of custom script data sources. Thanks for watching.